Good morning, everyone. We're here at Roma Termini to visit Florence for approximately 5 hours. This was a late addition to our itinerary, so we're just gonna have to fit in as much as possible. But first, coffee. I grabbed a cappuccino with a prosciutto sandwich because I woke up hungry. I also got a sfogliatella, a shell-shaped pastry with paper-thin crispy layers that I absolutely adored. I prefer taking high-speed trains over flying. It always tends to be a more spacious and comfortable experience, and it was nice to stare out into the countryside away from the bustling cityscape of Rome. Even though the tickets on the Italia Rail site said direct high speed, we did make several stops along our route. Our reservation for the Accademia Gallery was coming up shortly, so we walked briskly towards the office where we were to pick up our tickets. If you're not familiar, Accademia Gallery is where the statue of David is housed. Traveling through the streets of Florence definitely felt different from Rome. It was almost just as crowded, but somehow felt less chaotic. We were able to enter the museum right away and headed towards the main attraction. The statue is so big that you immediately spot it from down the hall. It's ironic because David was the underdog who fought Goliath, the giant in the Bible. The museum also had some interesting depictions of Jesus. This Oedipal blonde baby Jesus no doubt exhausted his blonde Mother Mary, but thankfully eventually grew up to be a very blonde white savior. Very blonde. After going through the entire gallery in a somewhat hurried pace, we speed walked towards Piazza del Duomo. Okay, so I didn't even look at photos before seeing what I'm about to show you. And I'm so glad I didn't because I was just floored by the beauty that was slowly being revealed to me. I'm sorry if this is your first time seeing it and I've robbed you of some of that joy, but trust me, this video does not do it any justice. This cathedral might be one of the most beautiful buildings I've ever laid eyes on in person. The intricacy of each marble design, the gorgeous color palette, the beautiful shapes and patterns. It was geometric bliss. And thanks to its enormous size, there was so much of it to devour with my eyes. Can you tell that I was in love? Honestly, this alone made the trip to Florence memorable for me. I could have stayed longer, but we had to move on as we were fast approaching our lunch reservation, and we still had to check out the Arno River and its many iconic bridges. Because everything was so close together, we were able to see additional sites that were located along the way. By the way, please do me a favor and like this video and subscribe to help me grow my channel. We finally arrived at the most famous bridge on the river, Ponte Vecchio. It survived the Second World War and it houses many shops, which used to be common practice. You can see the shop buildings behind me from this angle. Each bridge offers a gorgeous view of the city and the beautiful buildings that line the river. No shortage of photo opportunities. I was even able to take some cute photos of my parents while they took in the sights. It was also a chance for us to take a breather and fully enjoy the leisurely vibe of the city before having to rush off to lunch. Famous for their chicken breast and butter sauce, Trattoria Sostanza has attracted many dignitaries and celebrities throughout the years. Just FYI, it's cash only, so make sure you have enough euros in hand, and of course, like everywhere else in Italy, make reservations in advance. We started off with our tortellini and chicken broth, and it was both clean tasting and soothing, no frills. Then came the main event, the chicken. One order included 2 pieces and it arrived sizzling in a piping hot pan. Then after a generous squeeze of lemon, it was served on our plate with heaping spoonfuls of the brown butter sauce. And let me tell you, it was the most tender skinless chicken breast I've ever had with the super light bread coating that soaked up all of the delicious sauce. The spinach side and the chicory salad were delicious as well. Then we ended our meal with the yummiest meringue with strawberries, and those small berries were the absolute best. After lunch, we didn't have much time left and headed to the train station to catch our ride back to Rome. When we arrived, we spotted the popular Venchi Gelato chain at the terminal and had to fit in our daily dose. Remember our mantra from last time? A gelato a day, a gelato a day. This was definitely the tastiest gelato place so far. Before heading off to dinner, we made a quick stop at the Spanish Steps where a Global Blue tax refund center was located. We wanted to secure my sister's retail tax refund before heading out of Rome. We thought it would be easier than doing it at the airport, but it ended up being more of a hassle because the customs stamp had to be mailed by a certain date going this route. I do not recommend. Just do it at the airport when you leave the EU. Feel free to ask me about this in the comments if you're confused and want to know more. Dinner was at Pier Luigi, a seafood restaurant. Everything seemed fresh, but it was just not our jam. It was also the priciest meal, dare I say overpriced, and there was nothing special or outstanding about their dishes. But I did get to enjoy some langoustines, so not gonna complain about that. After dinner, we went back to the Spanish Steps because we felt like we didn't have enough time to enjoy it at night. Really, everything in Rome hits different at night. Make it a point to go sightseeing after dinner. You won't regret it. As we were hanging out on the steps along with many other tourists, the cops came by with their whistles to disperse everyone. I later learned that sitting on the steps has actually been banned since 2019, which also includes eating and drinking. Good to know. At the time, we thought it was a curfew thing, so we headed home, but not before visiting the Trevi Fountain one last time. And although it was super crowded, it was still beautiful. The next morning, I took in one last view from our Airbnb window before checking out. By the way, if you're planning on staying anywhere near the Trevi Fountain, bring earplugs. It is almost always noisy outside. We arrived at Roma Termini once more, but this time with all of our bags to catch our train to Venice. This time we were seated in business class, which had nicer seats and table, but no leg or footrests. Our seats also came with a complimentary drink, but all in all, there's no really huge upside to business class over the standard seats. And with that, I'll leave you here as we start our 4-hour journey to Venice. Make sure you join me next time as I cross off a bucket list item, tour the city, and try delicious Venetian specialties for the first time. See you then!